What's going on, Minnesota Viking fans? Welcome to this week's show of the Purple People Podcast. My name is Kyle Smith. I am joined by Adam Carlson. What is up, sir? How are you?
The emojis say it all, man.
Yeah, not a fun week, as per usual, being a fan of this football club, but we're still here. We're still going to do it.
So true, so true.
Myles High Club.
I forgot to put that in there. What's up?
Good.
That's Kyle
That's
West,
good.
everyone. What's going
That's
on?
a good name.
How are you? I know we were just talking before we started and clicked live. Kyle West is fired up, ladies and
we're
gentlemen.
riled up. I'm riled up. We're having good discussion. We haven't even started the show yet.
I'm not really riled up. I'm here, but I'm watching these two go at it, and it's kind of fun.
Kyle West is like in the Simpsons movie where they all just pitchfork and flame over to Homer's house. He's going at the U.S. Bank Stadium with a pitchfork and a torch.
Do it.
West over there yelling at the clouds.
Eepa! Just screaming it.
Old man yells at clouds. That's Mike Zimmer. What's a forward pass?
Yeah, we should probably talk about this football game that happened this weekend. I'm trying to get here on my phone, so let me filibuster real quick. On ESPN, going back. Okay, I just want to make sure the score was right.
They played the Browns, in case you're curious.
They did. I was checking the score on that, and I was like, was it really 14-7?
It was.
And it was not a pretty game.
Minnesota high-powered offense goes 3 quarters without scoring a point.
Kirktober
Kirktober not off to a great start.
The Browns came in 2-1. The Vikings were 1-2, and trying to get over the slow start to the season. Some heartbreakers early. The Vikings rallied the week before, shut out the Seahawks in the second half, got their first win against Russell Wilson since he became an NFL quarterback. And you thought there was some momentum going into this game.
Yeah.
The spread was pretty even. I think the Browns were favored by 1 or 2 to start the game. So it's pretty even spread. And if I had to recap it in my own words, I think Stefanski out-Zimmered Mike Zimmer this game. I also think that the players didn't execute very well. There were very few players that did that.
Cleveland really tried to Cleveland the end of that game and give it to us. Minnesota just could not capitalize. We could not pick up that ball, but god damn, Cleveland tried, man.
Now, I'll say this. I don't put this game on the defense. When you can hold the Cleveland Browns to 14 points, 1 touchdown, a 2-point conversion, and 2 field goals, I consider that an absolute win for the defense. I know a lot of people are out there and they're really tough on this Vikings defense right now because they're giving up a lot of yards on the ground. They're making some mistakes in the secondary. Breland is struggling pretty mightily right now. I mean, I get it. There are issues in this defense, but allowing Cleveland to score 14 points is not on the defense. This Minnesota offense should be able to come out, and even if they have to script some more drives, do it. Absolutely do it. Because what they're doing right now in that game, I don't know if it was, I know that it was a lot to do with the pressure that Minnesota was feeling on every play. And every time they tried something different to get Kirk a little bit of time or a hot read or a zone screen or anything just going, it was absolutely shut down immediately by that pressure. And honestly, as much as I enjoy that Rashad Hill has been doing a good job through the first 3 weeks, he got absolutely demolished in week 4.
And hand it to Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett is a grown ass man, and he manhandled Rashad Hill. Oh boy,
Rashad Hill's a backup.
Yeah, Smith and I were talking about that.
We were talking about this before Adam got on. We have to address it. We're not going to point the finger. We're not firing anybody today. We're not pointing the finger of blame just yet. It's only a quarter of the way of the season, but this is exactly what you would expect when you break down and say, okay, emotions aside, everything else, what is this player? Rashad Hill is a backup left tackle. Yes, left tackle.
He's a backup lineman. I'll give him that. He can fill in anywhere, but yeah, he's a backup.
Yep. And you know what? Myles Garrett, arguably best defensive end in the league right now. He is a man-child. And what did you expect? Now, I'm going to say this up front because I always do this on the show. You can look it back as many times as you want in any episode. If I hear information from somewhere, I'll look at some stuff myself and verify. But I love listening to Locked On Vikings. I listen to them all the time. and Luke Braun has brought to my attention some of the 22 film that skimmed over today. The Vikings tried. Clint Kubiak, this ain't on him. They tried to slide a tight end, a couple wide receivers, a running back over, and he was still getting pancaked. And that's Adam, you brought up a good point that we need to address. This is a formula that is a recipe for disaster for the Vikings going forward. If you can generate pressure with just 4, because the secondary and the linebackers are going to do their job to cover. Kirk's not going to get you 7 seconds in the pocket like a Kyler Murray or a Lamar Jackson. So that's what happened this game. 4 brought pressure. That was pretty much it. They didn't blitz a lot. And then the coverage was just excellent. And I will say this, and I'll shut up so you guys can throw in some points. That play at the end, when Tony Dungy tweets it out that was bullshit and that was a hold, NFL officiating crew, fuck off. Do better. I have to say that.
Stop. Oh, you're going to get that letter, though, that says sorry.
Yeah, you love that letter. Sorry letter. Sorry we don't hold ourselves accountable, fire anyone, or suspend anyone because we're inept to do our job. And I'll tell you what was cool. If you go on Twitter, you can find it somewhere. Joey Bosa from the Chargers called out the referees this weekend. Even though they won, he's like, you guys are blind. You need to do a better job. And
yeah, he did a crybaby act on there for sure. Them Bosas, though, they are crybabies.
A little bit. He had a good point, though. And I think it should be said out loud. They shouldn't get shunned for saying, truths that are out there because the players get held accountable for all kinds of stuff. So why couldn't it be other officials in the league? But I digress. I want you guys
I don't know how officials are disciplined. So that's one thing I can't really comment on. I don't know if they lose money based on calls or that kind of stuff's never made public. So I have no idea.
It's funny how that's secret. Kind of like the Goodell's salary and all that. Weird how that works. But let's talk about some good stuff here. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Vikes Insider, and I've got the highest grades on offense and defense, and I've also got the lowest, and we can go in and talk. I think we're all probably going to lean Rashad Hill heavy. Poor guy, but
he struggled really bad.
I've given my game ball to this guy because he seems to be playing through some, I don't call it adversity because I hate that everybody uses that word, but he's toughing it out year 2 and still trying. Justin
Rashad
Jefferson
Breeland.
was the close.
I'm trying to get you to give a game ball to Breeland.
Yeah, I mean, if he's out again with another illness, maybe. I don't know.
Oh,
he's terrible, man. I don't know how you were on a Super Bowl winning team and you're that bad.
Well,
and he's a pro too. Like he's a veteran here. He's been pretty bad.
That's an interesting.
Before that Browns game too, Patrick Peterson said that he was trying to lift him up a little bit because he knew he was struggling. And I don't know what that confidence is, but when Bashaud Breeland is that cocky jerk that's out there getting in people's heads and doing things, he's a great defensive back. But right now, he is a shell of who that was.
You know, it'll come like it always does. It always washes out after they leave, any of the players. I wonder what it is. If he's just not understanding what it is or it's not on par with what Zimmer's doing. Speaking of Patrick Peterson, he's having himself a quiet little year. When they're doing the cover 4 and they're kind of not doing man, but this weird man thing where they can sort of pass off if they need to. He's been pretty damn good. I'm thoroughly impressed so far with Patrick Peterson.
To be fair, Patrick Peterson hasn't been targeted a lot because other receivers are open.
Yeah, that'll do it. And why are they open? Revolving door because Rashad Breeland is terrible. So but I have the grades here, and I'm just give a shout out to a couple of them. Justin Jefferson, highest graded offensive player.
Did Brian O'Neill make top 5?
Brian O'Neill is 4th with a 61.7.
Good job, Brian.
Just in front of him is Kirk Cousins at 64 and CJ Ham at 74.2. Garrett Bradbury rounded it out at 60.0. Those are your 5 on offense. Jefferson, Ham, Cousins, O'Neill, and Bradbury. The highest graded on defense. Anybody any guesses there? One of them's really easy. He's been balling out this year. Quietly. Everson's number 2. Yep, 82. Dalvin Tomlinson, 89.4. He was the only shining spot on this defense Sunday because everybody else.
How can he get such a good grade when the Vikings give up so many yards up the gut? I've got to question that from Pro Football Focus because Cleveland just ran right up the gut on Minnesota with almost no resistance. So I don't know. He wasn't even getting tackled till the second level.
I don't know. I'd have to hear it. I'd love to hear the justification on that.
Zimmer brought that up in his press conference where he was asked about Pro Football Rankings and whatever, and he essentially gave the answer that doesn't matter because you don't know what schematically we're trying to do.
Right. He always gives that response.
And so a lot of people in the press were pretty pissed off over that. But honestly, I think that's a fair answer. We don't know what players are asked to do. Sometimes it's obvious when a player is struggling, like Rashad Breeland.
Right.
But some of the interior guys on defensive line, I don't know how you grade them out. I don't know.
I thought Xavier Woods had a pretty decent day on defense.
Number 5. Good job. So you got Tomlinson, Griffin. Cameron Dantzler was third, 74.5. Right below him at 74.0. Daniil Hunter, Old Faithful. Now the
Vikings have 2 corners in COVID protocol, right?
Yes. Cameron Dantzler is vaccinated, so he could hopefully be back by Friday.
Right. He has 2 consecutive negative tests, and he's good to go, right?
Yeah, and he said he's feeling good. I think he said asymptomatic, or at least I heard that somewhere. And he's, hey, cool, I'm vaccinated. This will be shorter for me. Harrison Hand, however, is not. He's one of the red bracelet guys, mask on the sideline. So he's going to be a little bit longer. I wouldn't expect him to play Sunday unless he just magically has 2 negative tests by then. But it's that exposure thing. You know, it's all still weird. Even a year after this, like, kind of sort of the big wave came, it's still affecting the team. I think it's funny, but not funny, because if this was Kirk Cousins, this team would riot right now. The fans of this team would burn that stadium down.
It's funny. Kirk Cousins has 3 amazing games. A lot of people are like, well, he's in the MVP consideration because he's having an awesome year. He comes out and he has 1 bad game, and oh my goodness, the number of people that are ready to just set everything Kirk Cousins on fire is just amazing.
And he wasn't, I'll still stand by Kirk. He wasn't even terrible in this game. He had a really bad miss to KJ Osborne that probably would have been a walk-on touchdown. You got to do better, Kirk.
But Kirk got nailed. What was it? 10 hits in this game? He was hit 10 times.
So again, I'm shouting out Luke Braun because I'm taking your information and we're reposting it out. There were how many dropbacks here? Let me look real quick. 38. Ask me how many pressures this guy had
on 38 dropbacks.
32.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess like
you think it was
36.
It was 52%. It was like 22 or something like that. Dude, that is insane.
He had someone in his face every play, and 10 times ending up on the ground. Come on.
You can't. Nobody can do that. We don't have the quarterback with that skill set of athletics to do that. That's not his game. And I'll give him credit. He actually stepped up in the pocket a few times because he was about to get murdered.
Yeah, the Bears have a kind of athletic quarterback now.
Yeah. Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
No, Andy's done. He's no longer the starter for the Bears.
Yeah, I seen that earlier today. They're going with No, we've talked about Kirk ad nauseum. I'm making the same point, is that when you give him time and you give him a clean pocket, he can be pinpoint accurate and put the ball wherever he wants on the field and make plays for this team. So when he is continually pressured under, what did you say, 52%?
Yeah, it was like 22 out of 38. There was pressure, quarterback pressures. That's insane.
And hit 10 times.
Yes, 10. When he is continually under pressure, and you got to hand it to Myles Garrett, he was all up in Kirk Cousins all game. Mm-hmm. That does not play into Kirk's skill set at all. I don't put that on him. I put the missed throw that would have been a touchdown to KJ Osborne. That's on Kirk. You've got to make that play.
He's got to stand in there and make his reads, but if he knows he's going to get hit like that, he knows he's got to get rid of it fast. If he can't get rid of it, he's got to throw it away.
Besides that,
Kirk made his first mistake of the season, which I don't know how much you can put that interception on him because it was knocked up in the air. Mm-hmm. But still, I mean, Kirk had absolutely no time, and other teams are going to try to copy this strategy, and I don't think they have the talented players to do it. But either way, it's a blueprint for trying to beat Minnesota, and I don't know if the plan is to put Darrisaw in as soon as he's ready, because right now he might still need a little bit of time to get up to speed and get ready to play, work with the first-team offense when available. I don't know what all has to happen there. But with the success he had in college as a pass blocker, as soon as he is healthy, he needs to go in that lineup as soon as he's healthy and ready.
Yes. Right. you do not want to risk him getting like injured where he misses the rest of the season. So obviously, if there's any injury concern, you continue to sit him out. But if he is healthy, in my opinion, he's ready to go. Like you.
Now
were
he did play this week against Cleveland. He played on special teams, and he got his first taste of NFL action, and that's good. Get him in there, get his feet wet, get him ready to go, and hopefully he'll be able to go in there and plug in.
Aerosol?
And this will improve that. Yeah.
A little bit.
I didn't know that tackles played special teams. unless it's for like a field goal or something. I'm thinking about the punting.
They do. He was out on the field goal blocks and
he was a gunner.
Protecting the field goals and everything.
He was the gunner on punt returns.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. He's the new CPAT for the Vikings. That's cool.
Speaking of that, Patterson, man, he had himself a day.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah. So did Daniel Carlson yet again.
The pain of being a Vikings fan.
Hey, great.
I have a dumb idea. Why couldn't you just be like, hey, for Darashaw, we're gonna claim you're a tight end on this play. Just go in and fucking help Hill and just fucking chip Myles Garrett between the two of you.
Well, they could declare him eligible and put him out there. They absolutely could.
Yeah. There were points in this game when Hill was struggling that bad that I was like, why don't they do that?
Yeah, I hear you 100%. He was just terrible all the way around. They did shift a lot of people to go over and help. Ezra Cleveland, now we'll go back to that. The lowest grades, he was the lowest one on offense, 39.5. He was worse than Rashad Hill. He was getting juked a lot in these plays and getting faked out. Yeah, it was bad. It was Cleveland, Hill, and Conklin were the lowest on offense. Defense was Nick Vigil, Eric Kendricks, and Michael Pierce. Eric Kendricks had a 37.5 grade. Probably the worst game I've ever seen him play. Couldn't shed blocks, and then like you said, the running backs were getting to the second level almost every time. So tough day for the Vikings, but overall, I mean, you hold a good team like this. You got it. This is a very what's the word I'm looking for here? This is a very manageable team. Nobody on this team, minus the defensive end, is like an absolute superstar, best at their position. But they have a lot of blue chip players. So when you hold a team like that to 14 points, like that's the recipe for this season so far, man. It's like, hey, we know we can be good. It's just we keep making these. It's a different mistake every week. I don't know, man. I don't think that they could have won this game for sure, but the offense was just weak. The other thing that bothered me, and I didn't want to interrupt you guys, was that play where Kirk stepped up in the pocket in the red zone. He could have ran that in for a touchdown. 100% he could have.
But that's not Kirk. That's not what he does.
Right.
I do think that he should have taken off running, but
he's made a lot of improvement since he's been here. I know from 2018 to now, he was so bad about getting strip sack fumbles. He's improved on that. I don't want to say he's been more athletic. He's used it when he needs to, but that's a wide open lane there. And I'm like, dude, you lost by a touchdown. Who knows, but can't say left or right. I'm not on the field. I'm not a coach, but there was a little running lane there. And I thought, well,
I do want to commend the Browns because they did something really interesting in this game that I thought really led to the downfall of the Vikings. Now, Clowney, a lot of people don't think Clowney is an elite defender, but the way they schemed for him was great because they had him do a lot of stunts, so he wasn't going one-on-one against Brian O'Neill. They had him going behind and attacking the interior of the offensive line, and because of that, Clowney was able to get free and get pressure on Kirk right up the gut. Now, when you have pressure up the gut, you can't step up. You either have to roll out or you got to get rid of the ball. And when you're getting attacked from your left side, you have no other option than to roll to the right.
And then the screens get blasted out of that. That's not an option anymore because you got all your defenders in the second and third levels out there. They can do whatever they need to do. The coverage is great. So
this was a really well game-planned approach from a team that knows how to use their best players to the best of their ability. And let's be honest, Brown's quarterback, he didn't have a good game. He missed throws. He missed some wide-open receivers. And honestly, this could have been a game that got way out of hand.
I think the defense.
There were times too that Stefanski's play calling was even questionable. where you're like, man, they're giving the Vikings the opportunity to come back into this football game. If Minnesota could have pulled it together, they had every opportunity to go out there and win this game. Who was it? Jonathan in the chat. He makes a good point. If we can get offense, defense, and special teams on the same page and rolling, they still have an opportunity to win some games here in Minnesota. They just have to get it together.
It's just the consistency. Jonathan, thank you for that. That was a great comment. John, I'll get to yours in a second. It's you're behind the 8 ball, and then the pressure starts. And then God help us if the pressure gets to be a little insurmountable, and then injuries happen. You're going to have a repeat of last year, and it's going to be ugly. I think
if you'd told me at this point that the Vikings would be 1-3 and their only win would come against Russell Wilson and the Seahawks, I would have called you a liar.
Yep, 100% same. I thought that the NFC West we might have took a goose egg in that division playing this year, but I at least thought the AFC North we would kind of plow through until we got to the Ravens, and that 0-2 against the AFC North, and it's not looking good from there.
But looking at
it's weird.
Looking at the Vikings opponents, I mean, it really isn't that bad that Minnesota lost to the only undefeated team in the NFL.
I was just going to say that Arizona is still undefeated.
The point spread is ridiculous for this team. It's ridiculous.
I think what did I read? They're the only team that has a losing record, but has outscored their opponents.
Yeah, it could be close to that. I'm sure. I'll have to look up the point differential here.
That's what makes it extra.
I think Dustin Baker posted that up. But yeah, this Vikings game, it was torture to watch. And I was watching it with my nephew, and he's used to watching these Vikings games where Minnesota pours up points and they make a lot of mistakes on defense and give up a ton of big plays. Now, the Vikings defense did a great job in limiting those big plays, but those running chunks of 4, 5, 6, 7 each run, they absolutely just ate the clock on Minnesota. They took away all the defense's ability to stay fresh because they kept them on the field. And it was just a brutal game from Minnesota, not one that fans were used to watching at all this year. They're used to the shootouts. Kirk Cousins just bombing it up. Adam Thielen catching passes in the red zone. Justin Jefferson getting some big plays, wiggling free, and Tyler Conklin catching some passes, getting some yards. And, of course, we did get our KJ Osborne flashy pass of the day, so that's always nice.
It's becoming a staple, and that's good. That's good for him.
I'll admit, after year one, I thought KJ Osborne, I didn't know if he was going to make the roster this year.
Yeah, I thought that he was kind of going to bust his way out of Minnesota. I think we were all expecting a lot of D.D. Westbrook. D.D. was going to be our number 3. And unfortunately for him, we haven't KJ Osborne's emergence. We haven't really needed D.D.
Yeah, only a few D.D. catches this year, and he's made some pretty big ones at crucial times. But yeah, I mean, Osborne's been far and away just a great surprise.
Yeah,
this will piss you guys off. Right in the middle, Minnesota is 17th in the average scoring margin. We are plus 0.5 in the margin. The NFC North leading Green Bay Packers. Now, this has a lot to do with that horrible week 1 they had, but they are negative 1.2 in the scoring margin, and they lead this division. So that's going to be fun. That's going to be a good matchup this year. We didn't do game balls and donkeys. I don't know if you guys want to hand those out. This game was tough to watch, and it sucked too. Dalvin Cook was a non-factor. Adam Thielen was covered great this game. Can
we wrap Dalvin Cook in bubble wrap at all times when he's not on the field?
Please.
Can we talk about Dalvin Cook for a minute?
Oh, no. I can't wait. I know what you're going to say. Let's do it. Go there and piss everyone off.
Hey, Kyle Smith, I have a question for you. Stick with me. What jersey number does Dalvin Cook wear?
33.
What's his 33? It's not a 28. This isn't 28 MVP Adrian Peterson. This is 33 injury-prone Dalvin Cook. When he's healthy, he's electric. When he's not healthy, don't try to shove him on the field, Mike Zimmer. Don't do that. You're not helping the team.
Michael Pierce.
We seen that Madison was perfectly capable of shouldering the Vikings' needs at running back. Don't put injured Dalvin Cook on the fucking field. He's not MVP Adrian Peterson. Why does Mike Zimmer seem to think this?
I'm excited for when the rookie can come back and hopefully they can have even a stronger rotation because they have a nice rotation or a nice stable of running backs in Minnesota. They don't have to put everything on Dalvin Cook's shoulders. I get it. Cook is a great runner. He's dynamic. He's got great speed. He's elusive. That acceleration and top speed are just top notch on him. But the more you use him, the more you're going to grind him. And now that we have 17 game seasons, the odds of him making it through a season, absorbing the punishment that he does, is not good.
There's no
He's
way.
already saying he's not 100%.
No, he's already missed a game this year. I mean,
yeah.
Same thing with Michael Pierce. They were nursing that elbow, did an MRI, it came back. Now I get it. If the MRI comes back and it's not, terrible damage, you're going to go forward. But he's going to be out. He's not going to play Sunday. I'm almost positive he's not going to play Sunday.
No, the Vikings signed a new defensive tackle to the practice squad too, just in case. But we're going to see some Armon Watts instead. And I like Watts. He's a good kid. So far, I've liked what I've seen from him.
If there's one person out in the internet land who's still an Anthony Barr believer and supporter, he'll probably make his first appearance this year, this season. He was a full participant in practice today on the injury report.
Good.
Wednesday, the 6th. He's a full participant, full practice. So cool. I mean, I'd like to see him play at least once this year just to see if there's still the ghost of Anthony Barr's past out there somewhere. But
Dick Vigil's been fine.
Not last game.
Yeah, I was about to say
none of
this
them
last
were.
game he's up and down, but he's up and down.
Last game don't count. We don't count.
Kind of like Dantzler, right?
one.
Dantzler has a couple of times here where he shines, but he definitely is peaks and valleys. But that's still better than Breland being out there for sure. Speaking of cornerbacks, we could have gotten for cheap. Defensive Player of the Year 2 years ago went for a 6th-round pick to Carolina today, so that should piss everybody off.
Yeah, too bad the Vikings don't have $7 million laying around.
That would have been a nice bolster. Can you imagine Stephon Gilmore and Patrick Peterson? Yeah.
And of course, the other prize free agent right now goes to Green Bay.
Jalen Smith, was he a Jaguar at some point? I feel like he was.
Possibly.
Or am I thinking of a different Smith? Anyways, linebacker for the Cowboys was released and goes to our rival. So that's fun. We don't need help at linebacker. We're good. Thanks. Oh man,
like
frustrating. It's such a Patriot
money.
thing to get the former defensive player of the year, not that far removed, and he goes for a 6th-round pick. The thing that Rick Spielman loves to double up on and has plenty of.
Well, 6th round. I mean, he almost got cut, and Carolina was just like, "Hey, you want a draft pick for him?"
Sure.
It was weird. There was a lot of weirdness about that. We don't have to talk about Panthers and Patriots football too long, but I got the notification first that he was going to be cut or released.
Well, they filed the paper to the league, and then those papers will get processed at 4.
Yep.
So anything that comes, they can cancel it before 4. And that's what happened. It was really awkward. It doesn't happen often in the NFL, but it sure made for a strange experience this time.
And then I saw online Pat McAfee shows that he was supposed to go to Green Bay. That was like whatever source that he showed up on his show said, "Hey, I'm hearing good things that it's not even going to be a release. He's going to get traded to the Packers," which would have been awful for this team.
Yes.
And then he goes to the Panthers, which is crazy because they drafted a corner this year, 9th overall. He got hurt. They signed somebody else, and then they take him. So the Panthers are like all in to go kick everybody's ass. So can't wait to give you guys the live rank.
Sam Darnold, who'd have guessed, huh?
Yeah, well, I'm happy that he's not on the Jets anymore. That poor guy.
At one point, isn't right now, I think, is Sam Darnold leading the league in rushing touchdowns?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Silly like that.
Hold on. Let's look.
I want to say that's a proper stat. Because I think I heard that during a broadcast, and he has been running in a lot of touchdowns in the red zone instead of tossing them in, and it's been quite an awkward game to watch.
I'll get it to you in a second. My internet doesn't want to do its job at the current moment.
Has anyone had an update on Teddy? How's his health? I know he got knocked out in the last game for Denver.
He left that game with a concussion, which really sucks.
Yeah.
And people really don't believe in Drew Lock.
Oh, my God. Adam, you're right. Sam Darnold, Carolina, 5 rushing touchdowns. Derrick Henry, Ezekiel Elliott, and James Conner all have 4.
Yep.
He's only got 52 yards.
Isn't that an absurd stat right now?
Good for him. I want to see what his passing stats are. Are they awful?
Darnold on pace for 21 touchdowns. Rushing. That's great.
He's turned into
All right.
Tebow
So
into
he's
the end
got
zone.
five,
I like
He's
it.
got 5 passing and 5 rushing touchdowns. So he's the Cam Newton of Carolina now.
Tim Tebow.
And the Jets couldn't get rid of him fast enough. Isn't that funny?
That team. You know what, guys? If we ever get upset, just think about how bad the Jet fans have to be. They beat the Titans this weekend, which is just such an NFL Sunday.
Yeah, I took the Titans in the Survival League, so I got my first strike.
Oh, sorry about that.
It happens. I still got more strikes to go.
That's all right. I'm going to go in here and do my survival picks too.
Yeah, got to be careful with them. Quite a few of us got hit with that one because, let's be honest, I don't think we expected the Jets to do much.
No. I'm trying to see where we're at there. All right. We'll get back to me and my personal stuff, and we're on the air here. 14-7 against the Browns. It was pretty much a clunk fest after that. When you don't score for 3 quarters, it's pretty annoying. The fan base and Vikings Twitter are calling for Zimmer's head. Somebody in particular I still haven't named 2 weeks in a row, and I probably won't. Just wants Mike Zimmer fired. Everything is Mike Zimmer's fault. Doesn't matter if the players don't play well at all. It's always his fault, which I thought was funny.
Weren't they blaming Tennessee's losing on Zimmer somehow? Yeah, you shared some ridiculous thing with me.
Oh, it was terrible. It's one of the dumbest things I've ever read, and I hate seeing that because I'm sure they are an intelligent person, but when you get too emotional about this stuff, which is why I love you two guys as my friends on the show, is you guys bring me down to reality. Because right after a loss, I'm very pissed off, but I'm very quick to take that emotion like a crap and just flush it down the toilet and be like, okay, what happened and why? Let's just push it. Like, you can't change the outcome now. Like, why did this happen? So we're very, very even keel for the most part, unless you're Kyle West and you want to fire everyone, which is always fun. But
burn this baby down.
Yeah, let's burn it to the ground and rebuild again. Going into week 5, this team's 1-3. Their playoff chances are very slim at this point. There's still an extra game this season, so that's good. There's 7 teams that get in the playoffs after last year's reformat, so that's positive. Mm-hmm. They played no division games yet, so that's pretty much the only hope that I have for this team to get in. If they can go 5-1 or 6-0 in the division, I don't see them beating Green Bay twice. I don't see them beating the Bears twice. Lions are not going to be an easy task, but I think they're a beatable team. We've seen that. They're still the Lions are weird, and that's why I
said this on Twitter, and I'm going to say it here too, just to double down on it. If Minnesota lose to Detroit, I'm taking the Monday after the game. I'm taking that off from Twitter. I will not post.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's a day of silence.
If they lose to Detroit, boy, that seat is getting hot for Mike Zimmer.
I don't know if you guys follow the NFL on NBC on their social media, but they posted yesterday a graphic. Who will win first, Lions or Jets?
They posted that yesterday?
Yep, they sure did. It took them about 20 minutes to delete it because that's a pretty easy question to answer.
That's pretty stupid. But all right.
But yeah, I mean, this was an easy question.
I mean, if you asked me starting out at the season, I would have guessed Detroit first. I think we all would have. But yeah, the Jets found a way to win. That was cool. And they beat a decent football team, which is really weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought the Titans were pretty good. You know, they're a fringe playoff team. Pretty good. Great running back. They have some weird losses every year, though. Just following them here because I'm still here in Nashville. But oh,
wow. Yeah. That's not a good stat. I just looked at the stats from this game. And the fact that Xavier Woods led the team with 11 tackles is terrible. You don't want your safety leading the team in tackles.
Mm-mm. Oh, hey, I picked the Titans again this week, too, so I have 2 strikes already.
Well, there you go.
It was good knowing you guys.
No, but a lot of us picked Tennessee, so, I mean, it happened. It really did. But yeah,
Ooh,
I guess if I'm Donkey, of course, let's all go with Breland. Game ball, I guess I'll go with Justin Jefferson caught 6 of his 7 passes for 84 yards and a score. The only score of the game for Minnesota. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's who my game ball would go to. Justin Jefferson is clearly wide receiver number 1, and he's finding out the test against good corners. But he was making some work out of Denzel Ward, so I was very, very happy to see that. He would be mine too.
Remember when he called out Jalen Ramsey, and I was like, maybe ease up a little bit here.
He's going to get a wake-up call that game. That defense is going to be good, very good. But
do you ever watch that mic'd up thing where it was Stephon Diggs and Ramsey was just like yawning in his face and stuff like that?
No, I didn't.
Oh, wow.
Be like, make it worth my time.
That's awesome.
I love that.
I don't know. For my donkey, I'd give one to Hill, I guess. He got manhandled.
The only reason I wouldn't go Hill is because I believe he was forced into a situation where he was going to lose. Going into that game, he had to know. He had to know that he was going to get just absolutely brutalized.
John Young with the comment of the year. But game ball goes to Rashad Hill's butt pad protecting that man's fall. Yeah, that it got to work out for sure. That's funny.
I don't know. Game ball, I don't know. I don't care. I give it to the kicker. Kicker did fine, didn't he?
Did all right.
Did he miss one?
Sure. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. Who cares? Fuck him.
Oh, no. He was 0 for 0. All right. But he did make that extra point, so good job, buddy.
Yeah, here you go. You did your job.
Now, Minnesota, I believe they uncharacteristically went for it on 4th down 3 times. I found that to be surprising because of how typically conservative Mike Zimmer is. I think he's trying to catch up and be a little bit more modern with some of his play calling and decisions, but it doesn't matter what he does. If it doesn't succeed, people will poop all over him.
Well, you saw that too with Stefanski for this game because I was talking to my buddy Buttles is his name, which is funny. I
like it.
Buttles. Yeah. He's a Cleveland Browns fan, and I love interactions with other fans from other teams that are like, we both have that negative point of view. We're like, oh no, your team probably win this and that, and it's not a bunch of like, fuck the Vikings. Like, come on, man, let's get past that. He was very scared about this game. He's like, I don't know, man. He's like, his former head coaches know each other now, blah blah blah, and yeah, I saw Stefanski getting bold and going there too, and I think it was just the energy match for that day because that had been a key, what you were talking about, Adam, was a little point of emphasis a couple weeks ago. It was like, well, why didn't the Vikings push further down so the field goal wasn't as far? Why didn't you be more aggressive? So I'm not mad at Mike Zimmer for being aggressive. If you're not reckless, if that makes sense, don't be reckless, but you can have some balls and go for it. If all it's going to turn into is like basically a punt within 8 yards of the end zone, I mean, go for it, I guess. But
they went for it 3 times, and the Vikings defense still only held them to 1 touchdown and 2 field goals. I mean, I don't think you can ask for much more from your defense.
Nope. Especially with, and you guys can agree with this, right? Like, this isn't the 2017 defense. This isn't the 2015 defense. This is a bend, not break defense. As long as you don't give up huge chunk plays like a draw play on the 3rd and 20, for God's sake. Linebackers just getting worked. And God, that was so frustrating.
Right up the gut, and somehow Dalvin Tomlinson still grades out great.
It's true.
Move some bodies. Disrupt those lanes. Get an arm in there. Come on, do something.
It's going to be interesting. John says he'd like us to run the score up on Detroit if possible. I would love that too. I'm not looking forward to the games I'm going to this year for the Vikings. I know at least one of them we're going to catch an L, and I'm going to have to sit through it in person. I will be there, not this Sunday, but next in Carolina because I'm moving back home.
Okay, but hold on a second. None of us have still lost at a Vikings game, right?
Correct.
Okay. So you know the pressure's on.
That's what I'm getting to. I hope they can find a way to beat Carolina, but I'm going to 3 Vikings games this year against opponents it doesn't look good for. Carolina looks really good. Defense looks stout. The Chargers, I think they're going to beat the living piss out of the Vikings this year. They look really good. The Bears game in week 18, I'm not really worried about that because I don't know if we're even going to be even close to playoff contention. But
week 18 sounds so weird.
Doesn't it?
I don't like that.
How I had to adjust right there because I almost said 17?
Even after you said it, it hit my ears and I didn't like it.
I'll be at 3, and it's going to start here very soon, going next week. I'll be finally home, moving back home after I don't even know what the math is on it. I left in 2007 and haven't lived there officially in a long time. I'm very excited to be back home with my family. And what better way to go to a Vikings football game? I can't wait.
I bought tickets for AEW in Minneapolis. Ooh. And that was on a Saturday night. And I was like, okay, if there's a Vikings game on Sunday, I'm absolutely going to this son of a bitch. You know, I haven't been to a game in a while, and I'd love to go to one. I looked, and it was a road game. It made me sad.
Oh, that stinks. That'll be cool, too. I'll give you guys updates, too. I've been to the Panther Stadium plenty of times.
Last time you went there, you got some good photos and a couple cool videos, and you shared them up on the page, and that was really nice.
I'll definitely do that again.
And let's say this to anyone listening too. If you take some cool pictures or videos when you go to a Vikings game, send them to us. We'd be happy to share them with everybody.
We'll give you credit. We're not going to be like, oh, hey, somebody sent this in and blah. Like we'll give you a shout out, of course. You guys help keep the page and the show running. I'm excited for the Chargers game too. Going to SoFi Stadium, that brand new thing in LA. Ooh, that's going to be nice. Wild. Watch the Chargers and the Raiders have a pretty electric game the other night. That was sweet. And then
Raiders are quietly good.
The Raiders and dude, the Chiefs are last in their division right now. Now, there's a lot of football to be left. I'm not counting the Chiefs out that quick, but
no.
Especially with Josh Gordon being activated to the 53-man roster.
And let's be honest, Patrick Mahomes had an absolute day in week 4. 5 passing touchdowns. I mean, whew.
What's that like? What's it like to have an Aaron Rodgers or a Pat Mahomes on your team?
I don't know. I'm a Vikings fan.
It's so sad.
Hey, we've had a Brett Favre.
Nah, you had
a season of Brett Favre. That was cool.
I was going to say, we can remember back in the old days.
Yeah, this is funny, too, because we can reminisce and BS at the end of the show now. But think about that, too. That Vikings team, which was incredible, had 12 wins, but the Case Keenum-led Vikings had one more win than that team in 2009. Isn't that weird?
I was listening to Vikings Vent Line. There are still fans clamoring for Case Keenum.
There are.
Moment of zen here. Let's talk about this. Case Keenum. Yes, thank you. I love Case as a backup. He has bounced around the league since the miracle. He's got his opportunities. He has shown that he is a capable backup, and that's it. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Can I piggyback on that for a second? Let's talk about what you're talking about in a little more depth with a little more variables. That season, much like the Eagles that season, they were just more talented, and they had better coaching. That's all it was.
Yeah.
The schedule's got to be – it's just got to line up to where the schedule falls to where – either the guys that you play and you beat and you weren't supposed to, you somehow magically outplay them and outcoach them, or injuries. Injuries are a big thing, right? The Vikings were injury riddled that season. Sam Bradford has the game of his life week 1, and we don't see him ever again. That was it. He just disappeared. Then Adrian Peterson's out. You got the Jet McKinnon, and it wasn't Matt Asiata. That was after. Who was after? Latavius Murray. You had that, and they were great. And the defense played great. But the point I'm trying to make is you had a great offensive coordinator. Pat Shurmur he figured it out with this team and these players. This is what works, and it worked to its peak. And that's all it is. You got to take the coward approach. And I hate Colin Cowherd. I think he is a boob.
He's a giant douche.
He's a boob, but he has for every bad take he has, 20 of those, he has a good one. You got to take the majority of somebody's career. Take the worst year and the best year and throw them away. They don't count.
Yeah.
What does the majority tell you? And that Case Keenum career will tell you. Go look at the tape in Houston. Is bad. Is real bad.
Yeah.
And that's a bad team, right? I think he played for the Redskins a little bit. Oh yeah, the Vikings played them again after that year. It's Kirk versus Case. Blah blah. We ended up winning that game. Cool. He's not a starter, guys. He's not. That's just crazy though. Twitter's so funny. We should do that one show when like in the off season. We should just go dig up. We should start saving. Actually, I'm going to throw that out there right now. I'm going to put it in my calendar. We should save week to week our favorite tweets so we have something off in the off season to talk about, and just
a fun idea.
Just go in and bring them up and see how right or wrong people were as the season progressed. God, that would be awesome, because the Twitterverse after a loss, there's no more negative of a place than
there's not.
Twitter. It's so bad. I like it. Let's talk about it.
I got so frustrated watching this game. And yeah, I posted some dumpster fire memes and stuff on Twitter. I did, because I was referring to that game, not this franchise as a whole, but that game against the Browns was a dumpster fire.
Yep.
And it wasn't even fun to watch. I wouldn't have minded if it was a fun game to watch, but it really wasn't.
It was boring.
To your point, Adam, it was a fun game to watch where we lost. You guys remember the first year Kirk Cousins was here and they went to LA and just went shot for shot against the Rams?
Yeah.
That was an amazing game. We lost.
That was fun.
But it was fun. It was a shootout. This was ugly. So bad. And their quarterback was worse than ours. And I was like, and then there was the stuff. If you want to say that wasn't holding on Eric Kendricks, whatever, it was definitely pass interference or holding on Adam Thielen at the end. But
yes,
at the end of the day, would it have mattered if they went to overtime? Did you have faith they were going to score again? Because I didn't.
Here's a fun thought for you guys. If you put Kirk Cousins on the Cleveland Browns, like we're replacing Baker Mayfield with Kirk Cousins, that's that's not just a playoff team. That's like they're making a run.
They're a contender.
Yeah. They're a big-time contender with Kirk Cousins.
Yep. They have the running game, and if Landry and Beckham are open and available, because the tight ends there are decent. They're not stellar, but yeah, you're 100% right.
Kirk would thrive on that team.
Okay, so let's talk about this game coming up against Detroit. Are any of us expecting Dalvin Cook to play?
No.
I don't know what hit. Let me check real quick. I'll check the injury report.
He did not practice today. And I think if they're going to give him another week off, they should do it now. Let him get as close to 100% as possible for what's coming up. And I know that you shouldn't look at a game on the schedule and be like, well, we don't need to be 100%. And yeah, the Lions are winless and they're a team that's been struggling a lot. But they're still a professional NFL franchise. They're a division team. They could come out and just absolutely shock Minnesota.
They definitely could.
Amir Smith, Marset, Michael Pierce, Nick Vigil, Dalvin Cook all did not practice today.
I don't think Dalvin will play, nor
Barr removed from the injury report. He is not even on there.
I'm on Vikings.com, but I don't know how long ago this was today. Ooh, interesting for the Lions. Penei Sewell and TJ Hawkinson did not play.
Oh, there you go.
Penei Sewell's a monster. The Bengals definitely got there. They wanted their guy in Jamar Chase, but that would have been a cool thing to protect your ACL torn quarterback there. That's pretty good.
But when you can give your quarterback his favorite weapon that he's had for many years, I mean, you kind of do that.
Oh,
especially when he's arguably the best player available.
You know, he was in their ear like, guys, how much?
And the coaches and the GM were like, these people already have a connection. We can bring them in, and they can just do really well early on. And they have. Now, would I have made that pick? No, I would have taken the offensive lineman because I'm boring.
We call it a protection of investments around here, Adam. That's not boring at all.
with the way the league is going, the direction of like offense, you can understand, but
receivers are getting to be almost a dime a dozen in the NFL. Before, like, if you were a fantasy football player and you wanted a wide receiver who could catch a lot of balls and make a lot of points, there was only an elite group that you could get early on. Now, if you wait into the third, fourth, fifth round, you can still get starting receivers who are going to get you over 10 points a week. To starting receivers and big-time receivers that can get you a lot of yards and touchdowns. They're a lot less uncommon now.
How many?
A lot more common? Let's just say that instead of the double negative, because double negatives are never fun.
So how many big-time, like, worse set, starting caliber, don't worry about it left tackles are there in the NFL? just by comparison.
Right.
Like,
well,
I
can
don't
tell you
know
the Vikings
because
have one at right tackle, which is nice, but rarely do you get both. And usually
it would have been super nice to have Riley Reef this year.
Oh, don't bring it up.
Would have been awful nice.
It's that cartoon with Wolverine just petting the picture, just like, I miss you. Oh, no.
And people celebrated when he got it released. I mean, what?
That's
he's coming off a good year. And then the team that picks him up moves him over to right tackle. And it's like, I don't know what's going on. I was on Twitter, I was scrolling, and someone said, if you could be a Vikings GM and make one transaction, what would it be? And I wrote, hire a scout who can evaluate offensive linemen.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Because really, otherwise things aren't so bad. Minnesota's drafted good players at other positions. They have a quarterback. They have a young quarterback they're developing. I don't know how much I believe in the young quarterback, but the Vikings have one, and we got to see what happens with him. So, they're in that position. So where is the problem? Well, we saw that problem in week 4 with the 10 hits and 23 pressures and just all that stuff that we saw from
There's
week
no
4.
Consistency, man. Think about what you're saying, too, just to echo your point and double down on it. Week 1, this offensive line commits the most penalties I've ever seen on an offensive line.
Ugly game.
Awful game. Week 2, they hold their own. If the kicker makes a field goal and an extra point, I mean, we're heralded because that looks to be like maybe the best team in the NFL right now. Now that the Rams got shellacked by them. Week 3, one of the best Viking games I can think of in recent memory. And then it's just, well, you know how you were up here last week? We go ahead and just bottle rocket that straight down to the ground.
Yeah, you Vikings fans were feeling too good for a week. I mean, they had to take that away as fast as possible.
Meet me in the middle somewhere, guys, please.
Vikings fans can't have good things or just be feeling all right. It's either got to be doom and gloom or it's Super Bowl. It's one of the two.
You know what, Adam? I'm going to rip your idea off and use it for the show, not for my personal game. I'm going to post that on the or maybe Kyle can do it with his cool graphics. Sorry to pass that to you. What, as the current state of the Vikings, what would you do if you could make one transaction happen? I want to hear it. I want to hear how many first rounders you're going to give up for Mahomes.
I was just going to ask Smith, what is your answer? And let's try to keep it within the realm of possibility here. So we're not like, I'm giving 8 first-round picks for Patrick Mahomes because we're still tied to Kirk Cousins.
No, I'm getting rid of Cousins.
You're just like, fuck it. Like you're
well,
done.
I'm not going to do this in the way that, because Rodgers is too old, even though I'd love to have him here for 2 or 3 years. Who's still young enough that can make plays that wants to leave? I'm going after Russell Wilson with the Brinks truck and figure it out. I miss that because, dude, you got to think. I'm scarred for this team being the shortest term fan here. Matt Castle. I remember that for a year and a half. That was shit.
Donovan McNabb.
God, the Donovan McNabb year, Christian Ponder. I don't know. Kirk's great for the middle of the road, but I would just like to see, I want to get back to the Favre level of things.
T-Jack and whatever they did to Joe Webb in that playoff game, trying to make him a pocket passer.
Stupidest thing I've ever seen. The guy wins you a game on Tuesday night by running around being weird, and you want to keep him upright like Tom Brady in a game. That's the stupidest thing I ever heard. But back to Adam's point, and why this would implode for me, but I just like him because he's mobile enough to get around the line. I think our receivers are just as good as the ones in Seattle. The line is good enough this year, and I think the running back is an upgrade from Chris Carson, but he's not terrible. The defense is better than the one in Seattle. Obviously, we just saw that. But
so one of the things I've seen debated the most on social media this last week, just shared around, and some people laughing, some people agreeing, but they were saying that Justin Jefferson is a top 5 receiver in the NFL. I don't believe that's true right now. I think it could be true in the future, but I don't think that's the truth right now. I think he has the talent to do it, but I don't think he's there right now.
Now, as a whole, on the grade last year, and we talked about the flaws of Pro Football Focus, he was number 2 last year behind Devontae Adams, who had an immaculate year. But right now, going into week 5 of 2021, I agree with you. I don't think he's in the top 5. I think he's fringe there. I definitely think he's top 10. but there's still DeAndre Hopkins of the world. There's still Devontae Adams.
Yep.
Even though Diggs is having a slow start to the year, he's still better than Jefferson, but they're close. He's great, though. I love this kid. He's the thing that I'm looking, and I love Dalvin Cook to death. I don't know how long he's going to stay at this level forever, but Justin Jefferson's the bright spot every week for just like flash and fun and swag. So
I tell you what, if I'm GM for a day,
here we go. Let's do it.
If I am GM for a day,
here comes Tim Tebow.
No, I'm not Urban Meyer. There is no Tim Tebow. We're sending Dalvin Cook out the door. What can we get for him for draft picks or players? Thank you, fuck you, bye. You can't stay healthy. We can get it done with the running backs we have on this roster. Adrian Peterson's on the couch if we really need a veteran running back right now.
If you'd have told me that Kyle West would be giving up on Dalvin Cook this week, I don't know if I'd have believed you.
I knew this was coming. I was just waiting for the setup. We talked about this before, and I'm ready for everyone that watches the show to come after him right now.
Don't need him. 2021, you don't need to pay that much money for a running back in the NFL anymore, especially an injury-prone running back. You don't need to do it. We can rely on Madison and whoever else is behind him.
The top teams in the NFL, they don't spend money on elite running backs. They don't.
No. Especially one who can't stay on the field healthy. And I like Dalvin Cook.
That take was so hot, my mic is warm here in Tennessee, dude. I don't hate it. I love Dalvin. I love when the team clicks, and that's the big if. If just this goes right and just that falls in line, but when the team clicks on all cylinders, I mean the dude's a stud. But you're right, man.
I mean, when he's healthy,
he's not had a full season since he's been here, and he's in year 5 or 6.
When he is healthy, you can put him on the field and you can 100% pound the rock with him, and he is going to make you some amazing electric plays when he's healthy.
So Adam wants to scout, and I think that's probably the most reasonable one of the three. He wants us to find a scout that can find offensive linemen that actually fit, that we don't have to do these weird science experiments with. I'm over here with Monopoly money being like, give me Russell Wilson for, blah, blah. So, and for Kirk like, hey, I'm going to piss the whole world off.
What do you think, Kirk and 2 firsts?
I'd do it, but they would never do it. But I wouldn't even, not even Kirk. Like, you'd have to do something with Kirk, and I don't know if it could be a 3-team deal because I don't know who was going to want him. They're not going to trade him straight up. But, hey, what player, 2 first rounds and whatever player you want.
Like, can we forget? I don't know what we're doing for quarterback here in this situation, but we're sending Kirk to Cleveland, and we're getting Myles Garrett and Baker Mayfield, I guess, which is a downgrade.
Deshaun Watson's still out there. He likes handies. That's pretty much the thing that's wrong with him.
And then we're going to send Baker Mayfield to the Texans for Deshaun Watson, and then we're going to send Deshaun Watson to Green Bay for Aaron Rodgers. Do you follow?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'd all go for it too. It's all good.
Right. That's one of those NBA trades.
I'll end the show just to piss everybody off too.
You and I kind of miss. I kind of miss how the NBA can trade players straight up for cash.
Yeah.
Or like baseball. What was that movie with Brad Pitt? Where
Moneyball?
Billy Bean. Yeah, Moneyball. Yeah, they were like, these guys are too expensive. We'll just take some cash. Because Oakland didn't have a big market, and they're like, we need money. Fuck the first baseman. Can you give us $4 million?
Remember when that kind of happened? When that kind of happened with Brock Osweiler, and the NFL was like, wait, no.
Yeah.
We're not doing trades like this.
Yeah, because it was one of those where the teams proposed it and they sent it in, and they were like, hold the phone. No, you can't do that. We're not processing that. And you're like, why not?
That was fun. I like that.
So
I like the way Cleveland was essentially trying to buy a draft pick. Like that was.
They were too.
Yeah,
whatever.
That shit's cool to me. I agree. I want more of that in the league.
Yeah, I'm surprised that's not a thing, to be honest.
Oh, that would make things spicy for sure.
All right, so let's lay some predictions out here.
Hold on.
Are we all taking Minnesota over Detroit?
Yeah, sure. Fuck it. Why not?
Yeah, I think they will. It's at home. I like them at home.
All right. Which do we think is going to perform this week? Is it going to be the offense that plays well or the defense that plays well?
Special teams.
Offense. They'll bounce back. I don't see it being 2 weeks in a row.
And I posed this question to Mr. West 2 weeks ago, and he could not answer it. So let's try it again. Name a Detroit Lions wide receiver.
Jesus, I have no idea. I could not name a Detroit Lions wide receiver.
I know the running back. Isn't it DeAndre Swift?
Yeah. I don't think he's questionable right now, isn't he, Swift?
He is.
But yeah, I mean, Detroit is coming into Minnesota with a group of wide receivers that nobody's ever heard of. And they're going to try to do some stuff on the football field with a quarterback who, bless his heart, he tries.
Oh, my God. Quintez Cephas.
Yeah, Quintez Cephas.
That's a starter. That's the one. Khalif Raymond. Amon Ross St. Brown. Now, I've heard of him before. I don't know any of these people. Wow. Oh, Darren Fells is still in the NFL. Good for you. TJ
Yeah, but he's a tight end, so that doesn't count.
Frank Ragnow, one of the best names in the NFL. Oh, my God. Kyle West, I will give you $3 in Venmo right now if you can name the right guard for the Detroit Lions. Good Lord. Just say the name. Here, I got it. I'm going to bring it up on the screen. We have to. This is wild. Now, I thought the Vikings had some good names here, but check this name out right here, guys.
Oh, my Lord.
Halapuli Vitae?
Yeah, he, I believe, is also kind of banged up, right?
I didn't check that far. I just stopped here, looked at the alphabet soup of this name, and I was taken away. There you go. Thanks for watching our stupid show about Lions right guards. No, to answer your question,
I guess what I'm trying to say is that especially if the Lions can't have their star tight end, TJ Hawkinson, if he can't play, the weapons are going to be very limited for Detroit. Even though their receivers are no names, they can still catch passes. They can still score touchdowns. So you are going to play defense. But, I mean, you're going to have Bashaud Breeland going up against a guy who he should be able to beat. He should. He should be able to get the best of that matchup. Will he? I don't know. This could be a game that finally helps him get some confidence and get out there and play up to the level that he should be playing at. Will it happen? Who knows?
Mike Zimmer is going to need to get him some of those 7-Eleven corners here pretty soon.
Find this cover 2 corners down at 7-Eleven. That's one of the best things I've ever heard in my life.
I like Mike Zimmer, even though I kind of want him fired right now. That's just because I'm a pissed off Vikings fan. But yeah, I do like Mike Zimmer. And here's the thing that's going to suck. When they move on from him after this season, because the way this is going, that's probably going to happen, he will immediately go to some other team as a defensive coordinator.
Oh, immediately.
And boom, top 10 defense. Because he's a good defensive coordinator.
Now, the next thing the Vikings are going to do is, if they do bring in a new head coach, I'm going to bet apples to donuts, which I don't know if that's a good bet or not. But I would bet apples to donuts that it's an offensive coach.
Absolutely.
Eric Bieniemy?
100%.
Eric
Because,
Bieniemy,
I love the idea of having a defensive-minded head coach. But let's be honest, Mike Zimmer kind of has to take his hands off the offense and let the offensive coordinator do their thing. And I don't know how much
we already know what's
going
to happen.
Being successful.
They're going to promote within. The Clint Kubiak's going to be the next head coach of the Vikings. 100%. Book it, call it now.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Be the next.
Book it, call
Adam Zimmer. Zimmer fired. Zimmer hired.
Mm-hmm.
What a headline.
And then he'll hire his dad as the defensive coordinator.
Wouldn't that be something?
What changed? I don't know.
Well, here's some links for all you guys that are still sticking with us. There's still 3 people watching for some god-awful reason. Thank you.
What are you
Here's where you can find
here?
Adam
Yeah,
Carlson.
we're just talking about the Lions receivers and stuff like that. I don't know why you guys are sticking around, but I'm glad you are.
Yeah.
Because we're having fun, and I hope you're having fun.
Hopefully you find it entertaining.
Yeah. But you can check out my work over on thevikingage.com. I do a really cool series each week about why the Vikings will win, and I find that the research I do on those articles has resulted in some really interesting takes on the games coming up, and so far have been pretty darn insightful. So if you get a chance and only have the opportunity to read one of my articles each week, I think you should read that one. But I also do every week the takeaways, 5 takeaways from the game. And yeah, I do them the night after the game. So sometimes they're a little bit, I'll say, over emotional. I haven't had a lot of time to calm down and relax. So sometimes I make a couple jumps in judgment there, but it's how I felt at the moment. So I write it. I also do the injury reports, which are, kind of boring, but what can you do with that?
Adam, I have a suggestion for an article. If you will write this, I will send you $3 over the internet. If Everson Griffin has a good game against the Detroit Lions, will you please write the headline, former Detroit Lion Everson Griffin has good game against his former team. Like,
I would absolutely write an article. Everson Griffin lays the smackdown on former team. I would write that article.
Yeah. So former funny. Detroit Lion Everson Griffin has.
I would even include lays the smackdown just for the fun. I would not do any articles about bedfellows or anything like that.
That's
just
so
smackdowns.
Him on a pitch count this year.
That's
love him.
Good.
Love him back because DJ Wanham ain't doing shit. So good for Everson coming back. He's getting a little old there, so don't make it play the full game so he doesn't burn out by week 12. But
right,
yeah, Sack Daddy is very much back, even though if it's a limited basis.
Even though none of you are currently watching on Twitch, I stream every week the Purple People podcast onto my Twitch account, so you can see it there. You can see it on YouTube. You can see it on Facebook Live, which I believe we've seen some comments in here from Facebook Live today, so that's some fun times. I also do horror movie reviews, and it's up to Mr. Smith to pick a horror movie for the next movie, and he's been dragging his little feet, but that's okay.
Man. Sorry about that. Once we get moved and settled, it's on. It's the month to do this. I'm hoping too that you and I'm not trying to bully you into this on live air, but when that new Halloween comes out, we got to talk about it because I am thoroughly excited for that movie.
Oh yeah, both my nephews want to watch it. They're going to come over and we're going to watch it. It's going to be, I believe it's on Peacock, right?
Correct. It is same day streaming.
Luckily, where I'm at, that we'll get to see it in theaters. Thank God. So I'm going to go see it in theater, not on a Friday or Saturday night.
I'm going to watch it on my couch as a happy guy, and it's going to be awesome.
Nice.
You betcha.
I also do some work over on Undead Walking. I read usually an article or two a month over there talking about zombies. It's the final season of The Walking Dead, which is pretty cool. New issue of The Walking Dead Deluxe, which is the colorized version of The Walking Dead comics, came out this week, and if you've never read The Walking Dead comics, I highly recommend checking them out because they are a lot of fun, and even if you're not into the TV show, it's a good read. And I like to promote reading. Reading is fundamental.
You should go support our guys here. I really do emphasize it every week because I support my friends, and I hope that all of their stuff blows up in the best way, and they can pay their bills, and you could help be a small part of that if you want. Those are all of Adam's links here, the Viking Age, his Twitch, and then Undead Walking. Kyle West sells some cool stuff over on Redbubble, and you should check that out because you can get custom many things. I don't know.
T-shirts, shower curtains, throw pillows.
Purple People podcast.
Can I get a bed sheet with graves all over it?
You could.
All right.
You could get lots of stuff.
Nice. Well, on that note, I believe Mr. Smith has a Twitch account that I don't know if he's used yet.
Nope. So I have it here if you want. I don't promote my stuff because I'm barely on there.
Do you TikTok? Do you do stuff on there?
I started it a little bit, but I fell off. I did a cool song that I really enjoyed from the summer on there. I even added effects to it because I was trying to be cool. And yeah, it's on there. I just get on and laugh. I'll tell you something about TikTok. If you get a TikTok, turn the notifications off on your phone because before you know it, you'll be on there for an hour and be like, what did I do with my life for the last 60 minutes?
I've heard that even really small, pointless things can take off and get you views on TikTok. I have one buddy who he's a big Trump fan. He posted a lot of Trump videos leading up to the election, and he got a massive following just based on that alone. And it's kind of cool that no matter what you believe in or what you follow or what you do, you can find yourself your own little community. And you can have discussions with people about things, and it's really amazing. And that's one thing we really love about the Purple People podcast community is how you guys join in every week with the live discussion, or you go onto our Facebook page, or I believe we're Instagramming now, right? I think.
Yeah. I've taken hold of the Instagram page, although I've been slacking on that for the past couple days. But
I believe our Twitter is mostly dead. Right?
I think it's linked up to the Facebook. you know.
We need a whole team for that. We need a whole team that'll, once you post on one, it automatically connects to everything else and do the lazy way. So it's just there for whoever wants to consume it.
So yeah, the best way to get a hold of us if you want to is either here in the live chat or sending us a message on Facebook, or you can get a hold of Mr. West there on the Instagram. You shoot him over a message. But I do want to thank everyone for listening. We will be back next week to talk about the results of that Lions game and then whoever the Vikings play the week after. I'll be honest, I don't look that far ahead on the schedule. So
the Panthers, you got the Lions at home, and then you go to Carolina, and then the bye week. So that's about how far forward I am. I don't know who they have after the bye, so we'll be here.
But thank you to everyone who joined in, and remember to stay classy, Minnesota.